Hey Money Guy family, it's your host Brian Preston, Mr. Bo Hansen, back with another episode of Ask the Money Guy.
That's right. You guys have financial questions. We have financial answers. If you have a question, go out to your favorite social, use the hashtag AskTheMoneyGuy, or you can go to our website, moneyguy.com, and ask us a question there.
It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
Today's question actually comes directly from the website, and this is from Brandon. And Brandon wrote a really long question, but this is the central crux of it. He says, guys, I'm so curious, how does my financial advisor hide his fees? So, Brian, I think it makes sense for us to answer the question, since we are financial advisors, how do financial advisors hide their fees?
First, and it was Brandon you said,
That's
right?
Brandon, right?
Brandon, congratulations for kind of having the common sense to ask this question, because I actually recently read an article that said that over half of individuals that use financial advisors think that either the fee is free or they have no idea what they're paying.
Hold up. I mean, we're nice, but I don't know that we're like free nice, like working for nothing nice.
Well, I think that the common misconception, and this is probably pushed out there by product salesmen, and the fact that they say, don't worry, you're not having to pay me. The insurance company pays me. So,
gotcha.
so it's essentially
free to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
just like the, real estate commissions,
right.
all the things that go into it. If the government lets you deduct it, it's not really free. They're just boosting up the purchase price. But that's a sidebar, a whole nother discussion. Let's focus on this question. Here's the ways that an advisor can hide their fee. If you think about it, you can do indirect fees. And indirect fees, what happens is you're going to make an investment with an advisor, and one of their options is they can do a front-end sales charge.
Okay.
So with a front-end sales charge, you give somebody $100,000, there's a chance 4 to 5.75% is going to that advisor, and then what's left over is what's actually being invested in the investment.
So right off the top, there's a piece that gets taken off right at the very beginning of the relationship.
That's what's called an A-share investment. And you saw those a lot. Mutual funds were doing A-shares. You see less and less of those type of relationships. In addition to front-end sales charges, you have these indirect fees that are also built into, there's one of my neighbors. There's also an indirect fee that can come from internal expenses and other built-in fees.
Sure.
And those can be when you have B shares, C shares, some 12B1 fees, or you just see it directly in the sub-account fees of the investments. And let me give you an example. We had, let's say, a professional that had us look at their 401k. Mm-hmm. And I still remember this person that had their 401k with an insurance company, a very prominent insurance company, and they were so proud when they showed me their Vanguard investments within their 401k.
Because we all know Vanguard, super low cost, great investment options, makes tons of sense.
Built their entire brand off of Bogle's low cost index investing. So when you find out that your 401k has Vanguard funds, you're like, that's awesome.
Right.
Here's what I had to break her heart with. When you compared her Frankenstein Vanguard funds that were in her insurance company 401k, the internal expense ratio of every one of her funds was over 1.5%.
That does not sound like Vanguard.
No, for index funds, we just did a whole show on index funds are practically free these days. So you can quickly see that there was probably pretty close to 1.5% of fees that were embedded within these sub-account fees. These were Frankenstein, and you can figure this out really quick by going to Morningstar, looking up the fund that you have in your sub-account or your 401k, and then comparing that to the fund that's actually listed on Vanguard's website, and look at those internal expenses. I also want to give you some questions to ask your financial advisor if you're trying to figure out what these indirect fees are. You could ask them, how do you get paid?
It's a really easy, great question to put out there.
If I look on my monthly account statement, where is your fee built into this? And if they go into that whole song and dance that, hey, you don't pay me, the insurance company pays me, I get a little nervous about that, because we all know there's no free lunch. So even though it might be paid by another source, you are ultimately paying it by the cost of the product. The other thing you can ask is, do you have any relationships where you're getting paid more based upon this purchase of this product,
Right.
the sales of this product. Those are things that you can set up to kind of protect yourself.
So the two indirect fees we really just kind of hit on, sort of in a big way, are their sales charges. They sell it and they get a commission base for what they're selling. That's one way they hide their fees. And the second way they hide their fees is by beefing up what the internal cost of the mutual funds are, or the underlying investments.
So let's talk about what we like and what we do, because we're not doing this for charity either. I mean, we love the abundance cycle. We love giving away great free advice so that you hopefully get to the point of sophistication and complexity that you need somebody to be in your corner and work, and that's when we hopefully will come in. We give away this free advice, and we like to do what's called direct fees, meaning that the only people that pay us is our client. Now look, it stinks. Especially like we just went through the fourth quarter of 2018 where the market was down. Guess what happens when you direct bill your clients and they see it on their monthly account, their quarterly account statement? Is they see on the quarters that their accounts make more money, we make a little bit more money. But when accounts are getting beat up, when we have a pullback in the economy or the markets are going through some type of fluctuation or volatility, our fee goes down too. And I think that puts us on the same side of the table as clients, and it takes away a lot of those conflicts of interest that are inherently built into financial products.
That's exactly right. Another thing that we like about the direct pay system is it's not transactional on the front end. So a lot of times with an advisor, if they get paid based on the initial transaction, there's not a lot of incentive for them to stay super involved even after that until it's time to create another sale.
You heard me say an A-share could have a 4 to 5 and over 5% sales charge. You could potentially work with a direct pay, fee-only fiduciary financial advisor like us for 4 to 5 years before you even pay the fee. So you at least get to try us out, get the benefit, and get addicted to it is what our hope is, instead of the guy who's just wham, bam, in, gets the transaction charge, and doesn't need you for another 4 to 5 years before the next transaction. But one of the things I want to kind of close out with is we love it when people understand the relationship. The two biggest things that pull on your portfolio are fees and taxes. Talk to us about the relationship of those two things as it relates to commissions and fees as well.
Yeah, so we've talked a little bit about how advisors hide their fees sort of in a negative way. Let me tell you how advisors hide their fees in a really positive way. One of the best people to try to hide fees from is the IRS.
Oh man.
Because there used to be some tax incentive where under your miscellaneous itemized deductions on your tax return, you could deduct what you pay for investment advisory fees. Well, with the 2018 tax reform, some of those laws changed. However, if you have a financial advisor that's not just looking at asset allocation, but also looking at asset location and specifically fee location, there are even ways today to take advantage of paying an advisor's fee in a tax advantage manner. So if your advisor isn't talking with you about the best way for you to pay their fee and even potentially save you some in taxes, you ought to be asking them, hey, is there a way that you could hide your fee, and you can do it with a wink in the back of your mind knowing that you asked them the money guy way.
Bo, that is a great way. Remember, keep your questions coming. We love doing this series of hashtag Ask the Money Guy. So reach out to us all the different social media platforms. Go to our website directly, moneyguy.com, and keep those questions coming. I'm your host, Brian Preston, Mr. Bo Hansen. We'll talk to you soon.